Have you ever wondered as to what really happens when you, as an investor, decide to put money into a frontier market, particularly in Africa? I mean, the real process, not the one you see on the brochure, but what actually goes down and how investment projects are actually approved. If you've wondered that, if you're one of those, maybe you've decided to invest in Africa, or you've started that process and you're feeling frustrated and you feel like things are not going the way you thought they would go, then this video is for you. Because I'm going to walk you through step by step as to what really happens and how you can navigate that. I'm the Director for Investment Promotions at Liberia's National Investment Commission. We are the National Investment Promotion Agency for Liberia, and we work along with our counterparts across West Africa. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how a deal moves from inquiry to regulatory clearance to getting capital on the ground. Now, if you appreciate me making these kinds of videos, let me know gently by tapping that like button and subscribing to the channel. All right, and so let's get into it. The first thing that happens when you decide that you're ready to move into Africa is the inquiry stage. This is where you've probably done some research and you've seen some opportunity teasers, investor teasers, or some videos, or maybe you've heard from colleagues as to the opportunities in certain markets, and you want to move into those markets. The first thing you want to do is to submit an inquiry, register your interest. Now, that could be done through an expression of interest, a letter of intent, or registration, depending on the country you're working with. Here in Liberia, you can submit a letter of intent or an expression of interest to invest. And this begins the conversation between you and us as an investment promotion agency. Typically, once we receive that, we'll acknowledge response and then invite you for a virtual meeting, get to know you better, get to understand a little bit more. We will then proceed to request some additional information to validate who you are and your capacity to actually invest into the project that you say you're looking at, just so as not to waste your time or ours. When all of that is done, then we extend you an invitation to come on the ground. This is where now we think that, okay, this is more than just inquiry, but maybe these folks are serious, especially if they're willing to, pay their own way, get their own ticket, and book their own hotel to come on the ground. Then there's some seriousness attached to it. But here's the thing, that's the inquiry stage. From the moment you get on the ground, it's important that you have what I personally like to call a sponsor. Not in the fact that, oh, you need somebody to sponsor you, but you need a champion. That champion can be in the form of a local partner, it can be in form of a hired independent facilitator. Somebody who understands the ground, somebody who can navigate the bureaucracies on your behalf, somebody who will help you open doors, somebody who is well connected, somebody who is influential in a sense, or who has certain levels of access. Think of this person as your lobbyist. Lobbying is not a formal industry in many African countries, but it is a formal industry in North America, for example. But the role exists here as well. And so you need somebody, especially for large projects where it involves clearances, sometimes as high as parliament or presidential approvals. You need a champion. Again, that is the difference maker. You can come on the ground and you try to work things out, and sometimes you will get through, But it's a whole lot easier if you have somebody on the ground in whatever country you're going to who has access, who has the network politically, commercially, who can open doors for you. That is the key difference maker between investors who get projects moving on the ground versus those who don't and struggle continually. So when you have a champion, again, it could be a local partner, it could be a hired facilitator or a hired lobbyist, if you will. Once you got that on the ground, then you can come in and that person is going to arrange meetings and help working with the IPA, get meetings schedule, take you to meetings, and ensure that you are putting your best foot forward in these bureaucratic meetings, because this is where you're getting to sell yourself and sell your investment theses, sell your ideas. So what you bring into the space, and you're gonna have to sell yourself to bureaucrats, to politicians, because these are the people who are going to make the decisions. These are the people who are going to approve your project. So it's very important that you do that. Then comes the application for incentives. So in my previous video, we talked about the different investment pathways. If you're at a point where you need incentives, then you have to now begin the process of applying for these incentives, making sure that you qualify, and you get the ones you qualify for. This is where, negotiations are had, MOUs are signed, all of these things happen in this space. Once you've had these meetings and everything is moving forward, then of course you move into this negotiation phase. Now, during this negotiation phase, one of the things that I look for is the commitment. If you're on the ground and you say you're serious, then I want to see you registering your business, especially given the fact that there are really no barriers to getting your business registered. The least thing you can do to show me that you're ready is to register the business, open a bank account, and it doesn't matter how much you have in there at that time. If you're going for incentives, then of course there are requirements in terms of a bank balance. But even before you start to talk about tax breaks and tax incentives, show me you're serious to be on the ground by registering the company and putting your boots on the ground with the bank account. Then of course we know that there's some seriousness, and this is important because a lot of folks come and they talk good talk, and they maybe they want to sign MOUs and then go use that to raise money, and then they never come back. We've seen all of these things and we're aware of those things. So we're not going to really take you seriously unless and until you show us that you're serious. And this applies to many other IPAs across West Africa. So if you're going to invest in an African market, you need to understand these dynamics, because it's only after these things, when you've shown some seriousness and we know that you actually committed to being on the ground, and then of course we can now find things moving to the point where you get the approvals, and all of this is done. A typical investment will require you to submit your development plan. During that negotiation stage, you need to submit draft agreements of whatever the concession or the long-term incentives you're looking for. You need to submit your financial model. These are all the documents that will be reviewed. Your your performance history, business registration, and all of these things are very important, and they must be included in your submission to show that you're serious. So, if you're wondering what's the difference between projects that move and projects that stall, it is your ability to navigate the system. And the best way to do that is to have a local champion. I can't overemphasize this. Get a local partner or hire a facilitator, but make sure you have somebody local who has access, who has the influence, and who can help you put your best foot forward. If If you are an entrepreneur or an investor looking to expand across the sector and you're looking for guidance, I've got a community that you want to consider. It's called the Global Trade and Investment Hub. This is a community that I'm building of entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, investment facilitating consultants, all of us coming together and sharing ideas and learning from each other. Beyond that, I take my 15 plus years of experience in business development, investment promotion, and facilitation, and I teach specific lessons and courses that will help you grow in your trade and investment journey. So the link to that community is in the description below. I encourage you to check it out, and I will see you there. If this video has been helpful to you, make sure to hit that like button. Share with a professional colleague who you will find it interesting, and I will see you in the next video.